welcome to Glowing Uranium. My name's Norbert, and today on the table I have actually two pieces of uranium glass here for you. These are very interesting because these are a pair of candle holders, and while these are uranium glass, there's something interesting about these that we can compare to more traditional uranium glass, in that this is what's called Vaseline glass. Now, where did I even pick these pieces up? So these I actually picked up at a flea market. I was actually looking for a pair of Yu-Gi-Oh cards at this one seller, and I happened to actually see these on the table, and I'm like, well, I don't have my Blacklight on me, so I can't really check if they're uranium glass, but they look 99% like uranium glass to me. So I'm like, you know what? I'll pull a trigger on them, and I actually bought this pair for, I want to say $6 or something incredibly low like that. And what makes this glass special, and why it's called Vaseline glass, is when we compare it to normal uranium glass. So this is a dish, a sherbet dish that I featured in another video of mine. And this is what you would normally consider typical uranium glass. It's green, it has some kind of a pattern on here, although they don't always have a pattern. Generally, when you put it under a black light, it'll have a very specific glow to it. But it's typically this green color. Now, Vaseline glass is uranium glass, but it usually comes in some form of a yellow color, like this. So if you put these side by side, you can see very clearly very different colors. Now, Vaseline glass typically has more of a shiny, glossy kind of look to it, more akin to a dish like this. But in this case, it's not very shiny at all. It has like a matte finish, and it's actually relatively nice. Now, as with my sherbet dish, this is very difficult to date because there are no identifiers on here. As was very traditional back in the day, manufacturers of these kinds of glass didn't put any really markers on here. A lot of times, manufacturers were able to differentiate themselves by the type of glass they made. For example, I have this bell right here, which is another type of uranium glass, which is more of a custard glass by a company called Fenton. And all of these are hand-painted, and these have very specific designs that are very recognizable in the community. But some pieces like this, they just simply are not. So if we were to date these are definitely from the late 19th century up to possibly like 1940, but I think these are going to be way earlier than that. And then in the 40s, once we got into World War II, there was a ban on use of uranium for stuff like this because uranium is used in war, as we all know, with atomic bombs. With that, they basically said, no more government use, that's it. So these are definitely earlier pieces. Now, with uranium glass, essentially what uranium glass is, if you're new to the channel, it's a type of glass that uses uranium oxide to give it this traditional glowing, beautiful green color. And depending how much you use, you can actually get a yellow color like this, which is more typical of earlier pieces. And because obviously it uses uranium, it is radioactive. So I have here what's called a Geiger counter. Now, a Geiger counter basically measures how radioactive something is. You basically hold this up to the piece, and in these little slots here, it'll detect particles being shot off of pieces like this. And it's very useful for a hobby like this, where you're dealing with something radioactive, or if you're making a trip to Chernobyl, to have one of these. It's a really cool thing. If you're interested in picking one of these up, this exact one I have here is a great starter Geiger counter, which you could get for about $100. You don't need it for this hobby, but it is a very cool piece to have. So I'm going to show you how radioactive these two pieces here are. Let me put these back here for now. So essentially what you're going to see is counts per minute. So in 1 minute, how much radiation is it going to detect? So if I take, for example, this piece right here, you'll see it's detecting some radiation, but not all that much. So uranium glass is radioactive, but it is very safe. With Vaseline glass, so check this out, guys. If I place this in here, pretty wild, right? So you can see Vaseline glass typically is very radioactive compared to your more traditional basic uranium glass. Now, are these safe levels? They're still safe. However, Vaseline glass, I would be a little bit more careful of if you plan on using it to eat off of it, or just how you collect it. I wouldn't probably keep it next to my head on my bedside table. In general, having these here, handling these, you're gonna be okay. It's not really gonna do any harm to you. In the normal world, if you ran into that much radiation, just on your normal day caring about your business, it'd be cause for concern. But obviously, we know these are radioactive, so that's why we see those. So let's put down the Geiger counter and talk about the next awesome point of uranium glass, and that is the reaction that they have with ultraviolet light. And you can see in here, someone actually had a candle in here because there's still a little bit of candle wax inside of it. Looks like someone actually had a green candle, which is pretty cool. Pretty on brand, I guess. So uranium glass actually reacts with ultraviolet light. So when you shine a black light, you can see it gives off a beautiful green glow. Vaseline glass will do exactly the same thing. Despite it being yellow, it's not going to glow yellow. It's still going to glow green. So let's shut off the lights and let me show you exactly how these pieces glow. So we have the lights off. And there we go. You can see a little bit there. I'm actually going to turn on a second black light here so you can see a little better. Now, it's obviously not pitch black, so this isn't the best view you're ever going to see of this stuff, but nonetheless, you can see it has a very distinct glow to it. Let me pick one of these up. Let me put this one over here. That's a good view right there. Beautiful. So this is exactly why collectors love this kind of stuff, whether it's regular uranium glass or Vaseline glass, because of the gorgeous glow that it gives off. So collectors often will set up whole elaborate cabinets with ultraviolet lights inside of it so that they can have pieces like this on display. I actually have the same exact thing. I have 2 cabinets set up, and then I have a bunch in boxes that I just haven't had a chance to get a cabinet for yet. But nonetheless, 2 very beautiful radioactive pieces of Vaseline uranium glass. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed a little showcase and lesson about Vaseline glass and 2 wonderful candle holders that I have in my collection. Hope you guys enjoyed the beautiful show with the ultraviolet light and the Geiger counter, so you can learn a little bit about how radioactive this glass is and really why it's such a cool thing to collect. If you guys like this video, leave it a like, subscribe for more content from me on this channel on glowing uranium, as I make videos specifically on my uranium glass collection, from pieces like this, my sherbet dish, to other pieces I'll feature in other videos, such as this bell from Fenton. Or if you just like my commentary but you're not into antiques, feel free to also check out my other YouTube channel. So while this is a new channel to me, I'm actually not new to YouTube. I actually have a whole nother channel dedicated specifically to car content. I'm also a car guy. I have a BMW M2 that I make car content on. It's called Driveway Journey. So if you're interested in more from me, but not necessarily this, make sure you guys check that out. And thank you guys so much for watching this video on glowing uranium. I'm Norbert. I'll see you guys on the next one.